So 2nd down and 7. We'll see if Pine Creek is just setting up the pass here again. And Morris squirts free outside the 45, past midfield. He's inside the 40. He's brought down by his jersey there.
Hey everybody, my name is Greg Nowlin, and one of the things that I wanted to do with football at our high school, Pine Creek in Colorado Springs, was put together a system to use with NFHS Broadcasting Network to establish a student broadcasting program at the high school. A couple reasons. One is we've had a very, very good football team over the past 12 years and did a lot of game film for them and realized that a lot of people that couldn't make the games would love to see this. So we found NFHS, and it is a program where the school gets software and you can earn money for your school. But the biggest thing that we want to do is give an opportunity for students to learn about broadcasting. Much of this kind of stuff that we do on a regular basis, I would have loved to have done as a student. So a couple purposes with this video. One is to demonstrate other people that are involved in the Pine Creek program to see how this goes together. And two, to basically show you a basic bare bones system that we researched quite thoroughly and that I think that you would find goes together really well. And so I'll build this up to kind of show you what it looks like, and then we'll have all the product links in the description below, and we'll kind of go from there. But first of all is a tripod. You've got to have a sturdy tripod. I've seen so many folks doing game film that are using a $30 Walmart or Kmart style tripod, and it just does not produce very still and nice footage. So we bought this Ravelli tripod and had for about 80 some dollars. And again, I'll put the link below. Now the legs are great, and so we've used it in this compact formation on a counter with a couple legs basically in the window of our venue. And then if we have to go full up, it's probably up to about here on me at about 5'10" and a half. That works really great. The other thing, just last week, we had to stick it out on a roof, and this set of legs will actually go out and lock like this. So I had it very low profile and had it out on the basically on the roof out the window, so we wouldn't be banging into the to the window. So we haven't really liked this head. And so what I would recommend is either getting the Ravelli tripod, and this bottom just comes off, so you can literally just take this right up and out. And Manfrotto, I just happen to have this exact same. The reason I know about this is because I purchased one myself. So these legs are very interchangeable. So I just affixed a Manfrotto small head onto the system, and we just used this one. And if you can see the motion of this particular head, it's great. Now the 701 HDV from Manfrotto is difficult to find. They don't make it anymore. So my recommendation for the top of the tripod is going to end up being a Benro S2 or S4. And the 2 or the 4 have indications for how much weight that you're going to put up on top of it. For the amount of stuff that we're going to put on, a 2 would be just fine. It's around $74. But with a good program and something that's going to last for a long time, really, really want a nice head up on top. So again, the Ravelli legs with a Benro head, or just go ahead and get a Benro tripod. If 150, 149, somewhere in that neighborhood is worth the money, because that's basically what piecing this together would be. So let's go from here. The second piece, do a lot of audio work as well, but we wanted to make this really, really easy to use. And so we ended up researching it and ended up getting a Tascam Dr60D Mark II. And what this is designed for is to be kind of on the bottom or the top of a DSLR. And then you've got the XLR inputs so that you can get better audio than typically your cameras can use. So we put this together as basically a small soundboard. We've got a couple Audio-Technica headphones for the talent to discuss. So what we'll do is we will put this right here, the camera on top of it. We'll show you how that stacks here in a minute. And we got some 2900 milliamp hour rechargeable batteries this uses for. We got 2 sets. And at our last football game, one set of these, and this just happens to be Nuon brand, but one set of these lasted the entire game, and then there was still some more left. Camera. Now, I've got a big Panasonic camera, but what we wanted to do was get an HD camera capable of 30 frames a second at 720, 30 frames a second at 1080. This one will actually do 60 frames a second at 1080, 30 or 60 at 720. So the software that we use basically streams high definition at 720 30p. So what we ended up picking up, and I think that this Sony is no longer available, but there's going to be something in this range. But this one is an HDR PJ540. Now, it's got a projector. We don't use the projector at all. But the fact that this has the ability to push out with a mini HDMI cable, and it has the ability, this was the big thing, it has ability to use a controller. So what we wanted the kids to be able to do is to put this controller on the arm and be able to zoom with their thumb. And that's been really good. We don't actually record at all with this camera. It just is the throughput to the computer. So again, the Sony is a nice capability. This does have a removable battery, so you can swap that out. There are some smaller Sony cameras that are probably around 160 that have an internal battery. You could still use something like that because it does use the remote controller. And this one just has the half moon kind of micro USB connector, and this one just happens to be a Fotga, and I think this was around 20 bucks or so, but we'll put that together as well. And then the last piece before we get to the computer is literally a StarTech.com video streaming device, capture device. So what this does is comes out USB out of the camera, into the box, and out USB 3 into the computer. And so we've got them all taped up to know exactly where to plug it in. And I will build this up here in just a second. The last thing I'll tell you, and this is kind of optional, for our home games we do not need something like this, but for an away game we do. And then when we get into our basketball venue, we'll use this. This is just simply a Quicklok, or it's Quicklok computer stand. And so this has got a little mouse tray. We don't use it, but we just put the computer up here and then hook everything into it. So really we have a 2-space system that you can do side by side, and you will be able to video your game. And if your computer has enough battery capability, you really can run everything off batteries and you don't need power at all. The last thing I will say is our school does invest in a jetpack, which is a Verizon device that is a small little hotspot. So a lot of broadcasting groups will use one of these guys if you are a visiting team and don't have the opportunity to plug into a LAN system. At our home venue, we do plug in to the computer directly with a LAN cable, and so we don't use a hotspot at all, but we always take that on an away game. All right, so let me build this up here real quick, and I will show you basically what this looks like when it gets done. The fact that I have one of my Manfrotto plate that goes on this one upstairs, I'm just going to go ahead and put the old system back together so you can see how it builds up. Need a Quicklok plate. So what we do is essentially fix the Quicklok plate to the bottom of the Tascam device, and that just simply goes into the tripod like so. Locked in there now. Second part is to put the Sony Camcorder here on top, and the nice thing about the Tascam, it's just got a little wheel underneath. Alright, so you've got camera and audio capability right there. And really the reason we need the piece underneath is because of the headsets that I will break out in here in just a second. So this is just simply, this next little cord is just a cord that comes out of the output. And it is basically just like a Walkman, a set of headphones that you would play on your phone. It's called a 3.5 mil jack, or a 1.8 millimeter jack. And what I'm doing on the camera here is just simply plugging it into the external mic in. And that's the other thing that I needed to mention right now, is that the camera itself has to have an external mic input. Otherwise, you can't get the sound from the Tascam or any other audio device back up into the camera itself. So now we've got that established. We used Velcro, which, and I'll just orient it towards you. Normally this is facing me. And on the back of our capture device, we put the Velcro right here. This little guy goes to the computer. This one goes into the camera itself. It's the HDMI output. So that will just simply plug in here. So now we've got the capability of getting the video from the camera to the video capture device. For some reason, all my legs are a little wonky. There we go. This one will plug into the computer down here. The last piece on the camera is the controller that I talked to you about. And on this particular Sony, it's up underneath the strap. There's a little window that opens up. That goes there. And this has kind of a little Velcro stretchy band. And literally, you've got control now with your hand. So this is kind of a nice setup. The next piece is to put your talent into the system, and that happens with a couple headsets. I'll just go ahead and pull one out. We have two of these. And essentially, these are an Audi-Technica set that are very popular for this level of broadcasting. It's a BPHS1. They're about $199. Haven't seen them for any less than that ever. They do have a replaceable cable that comes out. And so it simply goes like this. Now there's two sides to this. One is the audio input. It's an XLR, so it's just like a regular mic cord. And that essentially goes into the side of the Tascam. So if you can see where that ends up. and then the other one would be here. We've kind of color coded them because we know we always put them in the same way. Both of the guys who do our broadcast actually have about the same levels each week. So now the piece that you do have to have an adapter for is this one. This is a 1/4 inch return to the headphone part, and this jack right here only has an 1/8. So what we do is have a splitter that typically goes with the other set. So I simply put the blue one here. This would go for the other one. And the nice thing about the Tascam is it's got a headphone jack that has some independent volume here. And then it's got an output. So everything that comes through the Tascam, we can control coming up to the computer. And then we can set our own levels that come back to the headset. And where they're going to be the same for each person that's broadcasting, it generally sounds pretty good. So there you have it. The computer, as I said, is either going to be on a counter or the computer stand that we showed you. And it's basically, once this turns on, you essentially have got a system that you can follow the action, and then either if you're on camera, you can talk and film, or you can do a couple people on headsets and one person do the camera setup and the other person does the computer. That's kind of how we set it up at Pine Creek, is we've got somebody on camera, somebody on computer, and 2 people speaking. And that is the simplicity of the system. If you have any questions about how we built all this, feel free to hit the information down below, look through all the pricing and all that kind of stuff. And if you have questions, just leave it in the comments section below. But just as a review, Ravelli sticks, I recommend like a Benro S2 to S4, and those are kilograms. So an S2 has the capability of holding 4.4 pounds. The S4 is 8.8 pounds. This right here is probably 3.5 pounds. So it's not much. So the S2 would work fine. And if you look up Benro, and there's a nice tripod for about 150 to up to 200. If your budget can allow that, that would be really helpful for your program. So that's the sticks. The next thing is the Tascam Dr60D Mark II, and this is powered by 4 AA batteries. We have 2 sets that are 2,500 milliamp hour batteries, and like I said, they do really well for a football game for just one of them. We did end up getting an additional battery for the Sony camera, and this is the one that can do 720 30p as well as take a remote controller, and this is the micro USB style controller from Fotga. And we don't actually use this to record stuff. We just basically use it to broadcast, so we don't ever necessarily need to stop it. We're just really controlling wide and telephoto. So there you have it for the Pine Creek NFHS equipment that we use on a regular basis, and this will be employed at football, basketball venues, soccer, wherever you need to be. And with the jetpack, it's so portable that you don't have to plug in. But if you have the ability to plug in, you can go HD with this, and it's pretty awesome. So there you have it again. Greg Nowlin from Nowlin Studios, and hope this is helpful. And again, questions if you need to.
So the throw-off is to Isaiah to the far side. It's a hook and lateral to DeMario, who's going to walk in for the Pine Creek touchdown. Wow.
Yeah, I saw that in practice film this week, and that was a well-executed hook and ladder by Pine Creek. That was Coach Miller having a little fun, giving the boys an opportunity to execute a play that may come in handy down the road.